restart it?
I already did. All right, we just restarted it, and then I realized I shouldn't have restarted it because you were like, "We're wasting time," but I was like, "Wait, it's a podcast, or just like, and it's not meant for like we're not making this for anybody. We're making it for ourselves.
Yeah.
So let's just have a conversation."
Sure.
How you doing?
I am doing better right now than I was
15 minutes ago.
No, it was 2.5, 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Had a rough time. I'm like overall though, like I'm doing well.
Yeah.
But then like that last 2.5 hours,
which
was
I
not
had
okay.
a moment kind of in that time frame too. I was just feeling overwhelmed, stressed.
Yeah.
And then I feel fine now.
Yeah.
It was like, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a great conversation with our kids, and that put my mind at ease.
I had a good conversation with myself, and that put my mind at ease.
Then we're talking to the people that matter.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you do a little thinking on that. I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
So, what's been happening? It's been a month since we've podcasted.
Whoa, that long?
Yeah, because we haven't done it since Thanksgiving, and it's almost been a month since Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
So last Friday was my last day of dance, teaching dance.
How has dance been?
It has been amazing, and I absolutely love it. And so it was kind of a sad thing, but also like I know that I need to. First of all, it taught me a lot about how I've been able to I've made time for teaching dance 3 days a week for a few hours a day, let alone like planning the lessons.
Right.
So that showed me, okay, you actually can work outside of the home or do things like
you have
time.
The capacity.
I have the capacity for essentially 10 hours of extra work a week.
Yeah.
And so that helped me realize like there's a lot that I could do for myself, for Brecky Breck, for whatever I want to pursue, dance, anything. So
yeah.
But realizing as well that I need to just
and you're not teaching dance anymore, like you're done. You're gonna be done.
Yeah, for the season, just because I wanna. I have goals.
There's the rest of the season. They're spending the rest of the season, but they asked you to just come in for this first half of the year, and you did that.
So yeah, there's you don't
even explain it as much as I'm just explaining.
Yeah. There's the fall season, and then after the new year, they start recital season, and that's when they start like planning out the recital. Yeah. And I was covering for someone on maternity leave, the owner of the dance studio.
Yeah,
so.
It was fun. It was fun to watch. Yeah. It was fun to see it as a husband, to watch you like have this thing that you're going to do, and I think that's the thing we talked about.
Does that smell like cat pee over here? Like legit. Do you smell that though?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, I just got like a whiff of it.
I took my shoes off recently.
Oh.
I wonder if there's a cat pee in my shoes.
Maybe.
Shoot, I didn't even think about that.
Oh man, can you pick them up? Were they wet when you put them on?
No.
Oh, that's disgusting. Anyway, babe, is it your feet?
Not cat pee.
Is it your feet?
No.
Let me smell your feet. Sorry. Derail. Get back on. Forget it. Let me smell that.
Yeah, I think it's these, but I don't know.
It's that smell. Yeah, it's that smell. But it's not. It's that smell. Yeah, it's not cat pee.
It's just
Sorry. Wait, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You don't smell like cat pee. I love you. I was being dramatic. I mean, it definitely like it, but it's not like as bad as cat pee. Cat pee is like the ultimate worst smell, right? No.
It's. I think what it represents is the worst smell. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Your feet smell delicious.
No, I smelled it too.
Okay.
And I'm still not 100% sure there wasn't cat pee in those shoes at one time. It just maybe it was a long time ago, and like
why would there be cat pee in our shoes?
Yeah, okay.
That's what we need to get to.
So first of all, these are my like slip-on, gross outdoor quick shoes. So I just kind of like keep them next to the door, kind of near where the
cat litter is. Here's the problem with this cat litter situation.
And this is a gross topic. Like people don't want to hear this.
No, I know, but it just yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
I'd rather talk about like human poop. I ate a bunch of beets the other day.
I don't want to talk about this
and
at all.
For a second,
I'm done with this. Oh, yeah, because you forgot. Anyway, but I think you were in the middle of complimenting me, like being your husband watching me observe dance and all that.
And then you didn't want the compliment, apparently.
I did, but I was really distracted. Yeah. But I love you. Thank you for that. I forgot. You were saying that you liked observing me dance.
That was it. That was all the energy I had to.
And I loved, first of all.
No, let me expand on that.
Okay.
I did want to talk about it. I just gotta get back into it now. Okay, where was I? Honestly, I just want to start over again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Why?
I don't know. That just was like a legit 2 minutes of just nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not do that anymore.
Are you still going?
I don't know. Part of me is like, well, screw it. Let's just keep going.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't care. I mean, that was my fault that we did that, but I'm sorry.
We'll learn.
What?
We'll learn from our mistakes.
Whatever. Okay.
You gotta learn how to be fun on podcasts, and bringing up the host's dirty, stinky feet. It's not a good thing.
You want to play a game?
No.
On the podcast?
No.
Ooh. You know what? We should play Rummy while we're talking.
No, that would be. First of all, I don't like that game.
Yes, you do.
Anyway, so it's been fun getting to know you, or getting to see you. I remember what I was gonna say. Getting to see you have this thing, go to this thing, is separate from any of us in the family. Mm-hmm. Like, we're not involved in it. It's like you get to just be whoever you want to be there, and you don't have the criticism of your overly critical husband. You don't have the weight of your overly needy children. And you just get to exercise in that capacity and be there for those dancers.
Yeah.
And so it was fun, first of all, to watch you have this purpose throughout your day. And it's this is the thing. You gotta watch the kids because I'm doing this thing. And it was you got to own that. And then the other side of it was being physically watching you at dance. We got to, the kids had kind of their own experiences. Individually and then all together, and then I got to watch you in a certain couple situations as well. Yeah. And it was really cool. And I think we've talked about this before, but maybe even on the podcast. But you have with Brecky Breck, there's sometimes a disconnect between the digital medium in which you communicate. So it's hard to you get the comments and the feedback and stuff, but without story times are great for this, but without physical interaction, it's hard to really see where that's landing. Right. It's we can see numbers all day long, but it's being in a room with 15 kids that are just smiling and excited to be with you.
Yeah.
Nothing beats that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So it was fun to watch you be able to do that. Yeah. And outside of this pressure of YouTube or you just got to be that, do that. Yeah. And then come home.
Yeah, I loved it. It was a blast. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think meeting so many different kids with so many different types of families, watching their parents come and drop them off and pick them up, and seeing the types of situations that they're coming from or going to, and talking about bullying and these small talk situations that I got to have with these kids was really impactful for me too, because I just got to think outside of my small world. So it felt really amazing. But how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, better than October, September, end of September, October is pretty rough. I'm good. The future is what motivates me. And so it's if I can envision what, if I can see a vision for the future, then I can be excited about my days. If I can't, then those are the days that I really struggle. And so it's I think when I feel trapped or alone in things, those are the times where I'm pretty down. And so when you get those feelings together, that really sucks. So yeah, I had this random thought tied to that, because I'm finding myself in this. I'm let's dive in that. You just wanted to hear how I was doing. Good.
You know me, Miss
Yeah,
Shallow Wife. Don't want to actually hear how you do.
Well, I didn't know if you want me to like take over.
No,
this,
I don't mind.
I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for years now, but like having kids early kind of like almost gave me an excuse to like not really like figure myself out. Like I'm a dad. Like I identify as a dad a lot, but it's like, you know, when the kids move out, it's like I can't just like walk around and do the same things I do now. And I'm gonna really struggle with that. And I think about, you know, I used to joke around about how like my kids give me an excuse to blah 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 blah, and like that was like my cheap easy way. Like think about like dinking around at a grocery store, like being silly. It's like when I have kids there, it's like and I get an interaction. It doesn't. The rest of the world doesn't even matter to me. It's like those kids, but it's like, what happens when they're not there? What do I do? You know? And
when you said that, it reminded me of us goofing around in Safeway and and Fred Meyer and Ross, like when before we had kids.
Yeah.
And like how like my Insta story that one time when I was joking about kombucha, I was want some kombucha, and I was making fun of your hair care and like that whole thing. I did like a whole spoof on it. I was thinking about how we used to actually be silly, but we had nowhere to be. No, it was like it was just us enjoying the moment together.
Definitely wasn't stories back then, but
not story. Okay, we had kids. We were on a date because there were stories.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
we're pre-stories.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. No, like
so
I'll figure that out. But
I
I even like here's a more recent example. I've been.
Don't cover. I can't hear you.
I went to the. I was invited to the Seattle Seahawks game, and it was like fun, like sorta, like it was fun. Like I'm glad I went.
Yeah.
But like I kept having this thought this whole time there, like, man, this is like I want my kids to experience this. But it wasn't even like I would have more fun with them. It's like I want them to experience this.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I felt like I was wasting this thing, but it's like I want them. And I think about that even with like mountain biking. Like I get invited to go on these rides, and like part of me is like, I don't want to go if I can't take my kids. I'm serious.
I know you're serious.
And so
I know that's a real.
Like I wonder what kind of like dependency problems I'm creating now, and like, you know, we've been pretty adamant about, or I guess, like forward about like the reality of like, all right, by the time our kids are 15, let's just plan on like them being out of our control. Not that we're going to kick them out, but like if our kids get to 15, 16 years old and kind of like done with us, not that we're kicking out, but like let's plan for us to like be okay being done as like their childhood parents and like be ready to transition to like figure out how to launch them into the world. Sure.
I mean, and that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to raise adults.
Yeah.
You know.
I just saying sometimes people like kind of wait until they're 15 and then go, oh, this is what happens.
I have 3 more years or something,
or like it already started and they didn't realize, like they wait till it starts to start to look at the reality of that.
Miles is almost 10.
Yeah, we got like 5 years left of him.
Oh my gosh, that flies by. He's 10. He's double that. That's half of it.
So, yeah, it's crazy. But no, I just think about it, literally everyone at 15, 16 years old. It's like we kind of were all like, we were past that threshold of like being pointed towards our home, and now we're being pointed away from our home.
Yeah.
You know? It's like I feel like 13 is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Like 13 is the pinnacle of like you're like climbing the hill with your parents, and then now like you're kind of like moving away.
Yeah.
And there's a point where you have to like
at 15, 16 for me, that was when I moved to Corbett, and I felt like for me I was very much dependent on my
I'm not talking about dependent.
Dynamic. Yeah, I meant like
dependent.
Yeah.
You're thinking your life beyond your family at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking about who am I gonna marry?
What do I want to do? Where do I want to go?
Yeah.
What do I want my life to look like?
I don't know. I feel like some high schoolers nowadays like just maybe they. I don't know.
Yeah, some don't. I'm not saying everybody.
Like yeah,
I'm just saying like I think I'm trying to prepare for that.
Sure.
And then sure, if we have a kid or two that are like that just like
linger
don't do that, then it's like okay, like
great.
I'm not trying to kick them out for anything.
Right.
As much as I want to just be prepared to help them go through that, rather than kind of like. Oh wait, you're an adult all of a sudden, you know, and like I feel like we both kind of had like we were talking about this the other day, like, you know, we got married pretty soon, like young, and both of our parents were kind of like, you know, we didn't like take you seriously, we didn't like, you know.
Yeah, we talked to my parents last night about this.
Yeah. And I think about like not that I, whatever. I just want to be like prepared to like go through that process with them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
anyway, so all of that to say, it'll be interesting if like. For me, I think I'll go through like I'll have a new season of like identity.
We've
like,
talked about how a lot of moms like
live vicariously
like
through
they
their...
figure like they like lose themselves after their kids leave the house and they're like empty nesters, and I've always thought about that's gonna be more you than it would be me. Yeah, and I'm sure I'm gonna have.
You're gonna be like, finally.
No, I love our kids so much. I know that like I don't know. I'm not as I don't know. Yeah, you're.
I have like this like longing to nurture more than you, I think, or like there's like an element of me like I just want, I don't know, how would you describe it?
I don't know, because even thinking about like the types of conversations that I have with our kids versus you have with our kids are wildly different.
Yeah. Like I was happy when you, or let's put it this way, I wasn't happy. I was not disappointed when you had mastitis with Miles and I got to like feed him in the night. I really cherished those times.
Yes, and during Briar's like first 2 months of just a misery, like she was so difficult. She was so colicky until we got her chiropractic appointments. But I mean, even that helped a lot.
That's dumb. I don't know.
Okay, anyway, like there was a lot of issues
Your parents said that about you. You guys always like, oh, the second we went to the like later you kind of said that, and then we had with Briar and like it wasn't like all of a sudden like baby went from oh, you know, like the glasses thing. It wasn't like that. Anyway.
No, but you also were not there when she got adjusted, and I remember that day, and my mom does too. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Outside of that, during those hard nights, you were really like, okay, yeah, I'll take her, you know, 2 in the morning when I'm having these giant emotional meltdowns because I'm just sleep deprived.
Anytime the kids have been sick, like I just want to hold them. And like that's fun.
Yeah, and it's I mean, and I've definitely been there too. But when I'm sleep deprived, like
I'm not trying
there's
to
this. I know. I'm saying like you're definitely way more like.
Yeah, the point is like. Yeah. Like you'll probably, I'll probably look more like the traditional mom, in that situation when our kids move out. Of like I depended on the children. To kind of be the excuse for what motivates me during my day. And you don't do that. And that's not. It's like I would argue that what I do is almost unhealthy. Like it looks good and it's like maybe desirable, but it's I would say it's slightly unhealthy. It points me to healthy interactions, but it's not necessarily healthy.
Yeah.
Or it has the potential to be unhealthy.
I think, the thing about love, too, is, like, when you can love your children unconditionally and then they're, like, what would happen if they get to a point and they're like, Dad, you're just too much. Like, I don't want to be in contact with you as much as you're trying to. Or, like, I'm moving on. I'm trying to, like, if that day were to come, how heartbreaking that would be.
Yeah.
For you versus like, how could you can you look at that and go, okay, this is just a season?
Which I think I'd be disappointed, but I also think, I think I'm aware of the potential for me to be dependent on that type of interaction with my children. But I also I'm not dependent. What's happening?
Oh, you have paint on you.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
Working hard worker. Anyway. Yeah. So like I could also picture like them all moving out and me be like, sweet, like,
Well, and you and I are just,
be like, we'd figure something else out. I definitely I've been realizing this more and more about me as I get older. Like I'm starting to like see the patterns for my highs and lows and my interactions with people and my conflict and successes with people. And I am realizing more and more I give 100% to whatever's in front of me. Literally whatever's in front of me, like that gets all of my attention and everything else gets neglected. And I think some people have a balance. Like everybody has like a different balance of what that is. Sometimes people live 100% the opposite. Like they're always living over here. And then some people have a good balance. And I would say, like, I would argue that you have a pretty good balance, right? You're able to, like, when someone texts you, you're able to like bust it out, address it, and then get back to like whatever we're doing. Whereas like if I'm doing something and someone texts me, it's like that text doesn't even exist. It's like nothing else exists in these moments of like, not because I'm super diligent or focused as much as like I'm just like I'm here until this doesn't captivate my attention anymore, and then I'm here until this doesn't but nothing else is like I'm not able to like manage that differently. And so I say that because I think that there could be an advantage to that when their kids get to that age where it's like I'll be able to like whatever. I'm playing Inception with my own emotions at this point because it's like it'll probably end up just being in the avoidance of pain. I'll have something else.
Distraction. So, anyway, that's funny.
I want to talk about something fun. I met a new friend recently.
Ugh.
This would be a good conversation.
Yes, and yeah. Oh man, why do you do that though? Just call it what it is.
No,
man.
This is funny because I was listening to a video from two people kind of debating the. Anyway, I met this new friend. His name is Alan. Alan Iverson is what you could call him.
Stop. Just tell him what it's actually. AI. Artificial intelligence.
Anyway, so OpenAI launched a chatbot recently. Long story short, it's like a new wave of artificial intelligence being released to the public, and they're kind of opening it up to the public because they're able to capture data basically on all this and kind of have it learn from it. And basically it's a chat interface that you can prompt it, ask questions, engage with this language model, and it's different than like computer because apparently like the way artificial intelligence works is like a computer, like when you request a command from a computer, it's not interpreting your request, is simply like connecting the dot between the data and your request, where artificial intelligence is actually able to interpret the request or the dialogue, and so it's like a different form of interactions. So I've been playing around with it. My mind is blown. Honestly, this is insane, and like I see, it's crazy to like think about the world we're moving into, and I look at this like to our kids as like Google was to us maybe like this last like 10-15 years, and it's like now like Googling something is like a regular part of our vocabulary, our process, like our younger generations like Google it, like, or like we regularly look stuff up, like not necessarily Google specifically, but the practice of looking something up,
right?
And it's like pretty normal now, and you can be good at Googling. Like there are people that are good at Googling. Some people may not understand that, and that probably means that they're bad at Googling. Like
yep.
You can have someone who's bad at Googling look something up, not find the answer to like what they're looking for, and then have someone that's good at Googling find the answer with the same tool. And it's just a matter of like how you have to like know how to prompt or that request. So I think about AI in that capacity, and you and I have been talking about that. One thing, I listened to this lecture or kind of debate, like it was an intellectual debate, like kind of two people at kind of two different perspectives, kind of like mutually coming to the table to kind of explore like the future. One being a little more skeptical about AI, and one being a little more kind of pro AI. And the guy.
You want to share who it was?
I don't. No. I know. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And it was more complicated than that, so I'm simplifying it for the sake of this particular example. Anyway, so the guy that was pro AI, I don't know their names, so it's like I don't remember their names.
Okay, but you know the channel that you found it on.
Yeah, if you're interested, reach out and I'll let you know. What?
No, I'm interested. It's fine. I'll tell you. Sure. Yeah. No, it's fine.
Okay. It's unnecessary.
Sure.
And it's like it's potentially a person that people would like hear the name and then it would be
cringy.
No, not cringy, but they would just no, not enough. Anyway, okay. I didn't want to say any of this.
Okay. Gotcha. It's Trump. Trump and Biden had a real argument. I'm kidding.
No, I would not watch Trump's YouTube channel. That's stupid.
It'd be entertaining. Biden, Trump, it'd be entertaining.
Yeah, this is dumb.
Anyway, yeah. So
back to my friend Alan. No, the reason why I'm not saying it is because it's actually just a conversation between me and Alan. I'm just kidding. No, anyway, he says the kind of pro AI guy. He's like an executive at. He was an executive at Tesla, like for their autopiloting and stuff. So he's like a professional in this industry. Anyway, he says. Pretty confident, and he's pretty arrogant. Like I don't know, I wasn't like super stoked on like his perspective on stuff. But one thing that he said that kind of like I'm realizing even this joke with Alan, he said, I wouldn't be surprised in 5 to 10 years if everybody's best friend was simply their AI. And he said that, and I was like, I immediately, my immediate thought was like, I could totally see how that would happen.
Because it's everything you need it to be.
It's no.
It learns you.
Well, yes, but not. It's not
becomes-
simply just a yes man. It's like you're able to like explore dialogue with it, and like for someone like me, I'm a debater.
So this thing that you watched on YouTube.
Yeah.
They had actually, by the end of it, they had announced that they had both went to AI and
wrote the
prompts.
No, that's not.
Just kidding.
No, but a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers been doing that. Like, you may be skeptical of AI, blah, 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 blah. And in fact, this whole video was written by AI. And it's like, oh, actually, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Marquise Brownlee did that. And he was
so, with all that being said, how do you raise your kids in a time like this? And what do they need to do for their education? Because my thought process instantly was like, what about all the book reports and the essays and the homework that you have to do? And if you have a chatbot, like, you can just type in your problems at home and it'll generate your answers and you can write it down. You could literally write essays. You could do book reports, even if you didn't even read the book. It's like what SparkNotes was to us.
In a matter of seconds.
Seconds. So, and with that...
I could do a book report right now.
With
you name
that
a book,
not
I can get
ever,
a book
like, going away, you know, what
it's only going to get more and more advanced.
What do our children even, like... They don't need to memorize a bunch of random facts about science and mathematics and stuff. What they do need to do is learn how to problem solve, how to communicate, like...
Understand human emotions.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think the biggest thing...
And what kind of jobs are they even going to have?
Right. And that's the biggest thing you and I were talking about more than anything was, like... We've said this before, even this, like, realization about the future with AI and kind of where technology's going into this, what do they call it? So that we were in the data age, and now we're moving into the information age.
Knowledge age. Like,
Knowledge
we've
age.
already gathered all of the data and the information, and now we have knowledge.
It's going to be easier to access more and more knowledge.
Yeah.
So because of that, and like I said, we've always kind of thought this way about schooling and trying to figure out, you know, what are the important things that we want our kids to learn. But now even more so, that problem solving or critical thinking is something that we're like, man, that is the key to being, first of all, adaptive to the changing of technology and progression in our society. And if you can, and that's something I've always said, like, if you can teach the kids how to, like, learn or how to go after things, then they can go in whatever direction they want.
Right.
If we teach them, if we only teach them the thing, then that they're gonna have to go explore outside of that. But if we can teach them how to explore and teach them, like, give them tools to be critical thinking or thinkers, then our world can progress beyond our current comprehension. But that's something that will exist. That's something that'll go beyond. And it's like that's the whole debate about, like, Googling. It's like, we grew up going to school and, like, learning stuff that Google completely replaces on a daily basis. It's accessible consistently. There's nothing that we're missing out on that we can't, you know, like, Google.
Right. You can learn about anything.
Right. So it's like
instantly.
And that's today.
Yeah.
Let alone as technology advances to being able to, you know, like, it's crazy, and it sounds like super futuristic to even talk about, like, you know, brain implants and, like Elon Musk Neuralink and stuff like that. But it's like, the reality is that it's
around the corner.
It is around the corner, and we have to figure out. There's a whole ethics and moral side of all of that. That obviously that's an important thing that we want to teach our kids too.
Absolutely, which is super crazy timing because
we just watched that episode on The Office about ethics. Let's get ethical. No, just kidding. Sorry.
No, apologetics.
Apologetics. Yeah.
Like, apologetics, like, realizing, like, what is truth and, like, how do you raise your kids to be confident in a belief system or in what, you know, and then, like, that will keep them grounded beyond, you know, I don't know. I think, obviously, you just, like, shut down to when I literally said the word apologetics. You're like,
I'm listening to you.
Okay.
I want you to make a point so that we can continue.
Yeah, no, I just think it's really interesting because even what you're saying, like ethical, like our kids are going to be, they are already starting to be bombarded. Not even just our kids. I'm talking about kids in culture and society. It's like they're being bombarded with so much information and so many opinions that the potential for them to reach this, I'm gonna sneeze. The potential for excuse me. The potential for them to reach this place of like, who am I and what do I personally believe, you know, outside of like what people are telling me to believe, what I can believe, like all, it's like it's a messy world, like, and I think like teaching them like morals, ethics, apologetics, like truth, you know, what is reality, you know, like right. That's gonna keep them grounded in this, like, whoa.
Well, yeah, so yes, and what we've talked about too is like we have a lot of people in our circle that are maybe more apt to like close down or close off.
They literally shut off
when
people.
These types of conversations come up.
Yeah. Out
it's
of
like,
fear.
I'm going to like hide my child from this, or it's
right.
like. And it's not that they're like hiding as much as it's like they're not.
They're just like, well, let's turn the other way,
right.
Go the other direction.
And so for
me, stay away from them.
Or for us, it's been like, the reality is like you can't live outside of where technology is going.
No.
Unless you literally just like one generation just go, you know,
actually
literally
out
into
to the
woods.
Yeah. Right.
Aside from that, there's no city, there's no place in the whole world that you can go and like live a different reality than like kind of the progression of our culture.
Right.
So
to raise children that are competent and are like aware of what's going on, like that sounds so important to me. Like that sounds like,
and it's hard. It's
have
daunting.
all the conversation.
It's nerve-wracking because
absolutely.
It's like, are we introducing stuff early? Are we exposing them stuff that's going to be, you know, it's like, are we just leading them to their destruction by simply introducing them to this stuff?
But again, it comes to us. I think it's huge for as a parent too to like know what you believe, know your foundation and your truth, the truth that you stand on, and then to introduce that to your children so that they can boldly, confidently make decisions and ask hard questions and do research. I think that's
and there's a relatable element too. Like we talked about this forever with like just even social media, because we've kind of gone through a decade of like the social media age, and you know, like I've always been an advocate for like I want to stay relevant in it, not because I want to always use it, but because I want to understand what's happening. And I think there's a relatability even with our kids or the next generation where it's just like, if there's not any relation or like understanding of like shared experience, then there's no even like basis to pull from an example set. It's like the world's completely different than what my parents grew up with.
Right.
And so I don't even know how to relate to examples that like the examples that they set, like we're progressing too fast as a culture that like I can't even apply them to my life. And so like that's what I also think about like with our kids. It's like if we can, you know, while they're still kind of growing with us, start to like talk about this stuff, and it feels early, or it feels like, you know, some of our friends may say like we're like, you know, having them grow up too fast or something, but there's a reality of like we're able to kind of walk through this together and be an example of like
a huge thing though that I have to like point out. You and I are both really good at our communication style with each other and with our children, and that's not typical for all of my friends that I can think of.
A lot of good them, as much as we're intentional. And that could be perceived as good. I would argue
that it's good.
Yeah, sure.
I'd say, like, yeah, I'm not saying, like, it's perfect, but I'm saying, like, like, for instance, tonight, I had I blew up. So.
And is that good?
No. Let me just tell you this whole story.
Was good, but it's like...
No, it was terrible. Like I said, the last 2.5 hours, I woke up from a nap, It's 5 o'clock. It's dark outside, and I'm feeling and I walk out to the living room over a big giant pile of laundry in the hallway, and pine needles from a wreath that's drying out and falling apart all over the hall, and I'm just like, ugh. And everyone's hungry, and you're home to eat dinner, and there's no dinner made yet, and so I'm like, I instantly just go into the kitchen and start making tacos, and then I'm like, wait, the kids have been downstairs playing games the entire time that I was taking a nap, which was like a 2-hour long nap. And so I go down there and I'm like, hey everybody, like video games. I'm like, we're done playing games, like it's time to come upstairs and clean up the living room while I make dinner. I just try to like gain control. Everybody stop what you're doing and we're gonna do this
immediately.
And so they come upstairs cranky, like, they've kind of just been in this la la land, and so it got out of hand. And then I asked all of them to go into their room. They all share a bedroom, and they were cleaning up, and then one child was not cleaning up, and the other child was like threatening to vacuum up that other child's toys if they didn't clean them up, and he's plugging it in and he's antagonizing. And she's freaking out and screaming at him, and I'm trying to talk with you at the table about our stress that we're going through, and meanwhile I'm hearing this. And so I just like lost it, and I went into the hall and just bulldozed a child to the ground with the vacuum cleaner, just kind of rammed my body into his body. And I just proceeded to yell at the kids, like, stop antagonizing each other, like, just do what I asked. I don't ask you to do a lot. This whole thing, it just got totally out of hand. People are all crying.
I'm crying every time.
And then I just, like, I go back into the kitchen. I finish whatever, and then, yeah, and you pull me aside and you're like, dude, you need to get it together, go apologize. And I'm just like, I'm too mad to even care what I just did. And so it wasn't good. You left to go work, and the kids just kind of tiptoed around mom, like, make mom happy, like, do whatever's gonna make this monster dissipate and go away. And so about 15 minutes goes by, and I call everybody into the living room, and I burst into tears. They all sat down on the couch, and I sat on the floor. What brought me to this point was one child said, everyone hates me, you hate me, I want a different mom. All these lines that are just, and I, at that moment, I realized I didn't take that personally, but what I took personally was, my kids, I am instilling in them that in order for them to be happy, they have to make me happy. And that is not good. Like, my happiness is not dependent on whether they're good or bad. It's my own issues, Like, I need to work through my own issues too. So I brought them into the living room, sat them down, started to cry, and I said, you know what I'm realizing, you guys? You are all trying so hard to make me happy so that you can continue to be happy and do what you'd love to do. And I was like, and what I need to do is, you need to know that I am not in a healthy place, and it is not your fault that, like, my anger, I said, my anger is not your fault. It is not your problem. What are you doing? Yeah, go ahead and say what you want to say, but I'm still in the middle of saying what happened.
I know, that's why I was like kind of like add on.
Go ahead.
Even the context for the child that was vacuuming. The child was trying to vacuum because that child was trying to help clean up.
Yeah,
and the other child wasn't cleaning up their stuff, and so like the context for what you got upset about was actually the potentially.
Well, the other part too was like, that child, when they get bored, they kind of just
that
like
wasn't
wanna.
That wasn't that. That's 100% like the causation of the pressure.
Sure. So, I mean, okay.
Because that's what I mean. Even literally the words that they said were, "You do this too," and I was like, "Yeah, you do that kind of thing."
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna throw this in the garbage if you don't pick it up.
Right.
Whatever,
You get tired of picking up all these little random toys, and you're just like, dude, Anyway,
like I get it. But.
Yeah. So, long story short, I just was pretty much like saying, "Hey, you guys, like, my unhealth, like, is my own problem. I said, you do." I told the one child in particular, I said, just because I'm yelling at you does not mean that the rest of the world doesn't love you. That doesn't mean that I don't love you. I was like, you guys are literally, your happiness is riding on whether or not you can make me happy, and that is not good. I should release you of that. And I was like, me being your mom in this home, like, I set the tone. And if I'm just, having this big cloud of darkness and sadness and, fear and anger and all these problems, you're going to feel that, and you have a hard time getting from under that and just like being happy. And I was like, and that is so not healthy. And I said, I need to find some counseling. I need to find some help because
you need to talk to an AI buddy.
I said, I don't want to. I said, I know for right now, I said, I know that you're all going to grow up and you're going to have to look at the trauma that your mom caused by having these blow ups. And I said, I completely out of anger just went right into you and plowed you over and just didn't even I just wanted to stop and end the yelling and the stress that I'm already feeling. And anyway, it turned into this beautiful conversation to where one child said, Mom, can we pray for you? And she comes over and lays her hand on my knee, and the other two put their hands on my head and my shoulder, and the other one just sat quietly observing because she was really upset. And she prayed peace and righteousness and justice. Because I ended up pulling out this this verse. It ended up being an incredible moment where I got to say, hey, this is the struggle that I'm having internally, and I don't know what to do with myself. And I told them, so right now it's the 18th of December, and all the way until Christmas Day, the 25th, I am not going to be on social media, and I'm only going to just have my phone on to text my friends. And I was like, I need to stop wasting my time watching stupid videos to distract myself from my real feelings and my problems or the lack of what I'm doing. And it was really cool. So all that to say, I go back and forth with how much should you put on your kids in terms of the deep conversations that you have. And when I let them into my world of unhealth and mom's not mentally stable all the time or has these issues, it's that, I don't know. That could be perceived as ooh, you're putting too much on your kids and letting them in too much. But the other part of it is well, I want to grow up with you, and I want you to know you can value and respect my wisdom, and they will someday, hopefully. They'll realize Mom has always been on this journey, and I think that's gonna be the case. But in the time, I'm how do you communicate with your kids to let them know that these are gonna be the real life battles that they're gonna go through? And should they be able to look at and address them realistically, right? And I felt that was an important, monumental moment that I shared with them of I am not perfect, and in the meantime, the damage that I'm causing you, I need to confess and say I am so sorry. And I told them I literally sinned. I was I'm allowed to be angry, but I'm not allowed to react out of that anger, and what I did was reaction, and it wasn't healthy. And so anyway, I don't know. I just felt sharing that just because first of all, I didn't tell you about that. Sorry, what are you doing to your keyboard? I didn't tell you that little bit, and I felt it's hard because even right now in this moment, you listen to that and you're great, but are you actually going to change, or are you actually going to I don't know. What are you thinking when you're hearing this?
I don't know. What I was thinking was you as parents we want this perfect world for our children, but let's say we want this perfectly conflict free world for our children. I'm going to say perfect because perfect is subjective. But would a perfectly conflict-free world be what is perfect for them? And so I think what I was thinking about when you were saying all that is yeah, it'd be better if none of that happened. But then I was would it though? Would it be better if none of that happened, or was that is it actually good to have these moments of vulnerability as long as there's that follow-up? Because I even think about, I've been processing this with a few people in our family and life lately about like, you know, like our conflicts with family members, and about how you and I are pretty conflict excited.
I was gonna say interested.
Interested. We're not conflict avoidant.
I do want to pause really quick because one of the kids did say during all this, how come Dad doesn't react like you do? How come he doesn't blow up? They said it was something along those lines, and I was like,
he's not a stay-at-home mom. He doesn't understand.
No one understood what you said. He's not a stay-at-home mom. He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
That's partly true. Yeah, maybe. But the other part of it was like your personality type, you know, who you are just doesn't take things as personally as I do. And I think that's the part that I
about, like,
get
our
wrapped
upbringing.
up in mentally.
What was your mom like versus what my mom was like too?
Right.
I mean, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Right. And this goes to my point of like, is there a better reaction?
Right.
Or is it good to have balance? And is it just good to be aware? And so so I agree with you. And I think, you know, there's different things that affect that. But I think the important thing is like recognizing we're never fully cooked, right? We're always growing. Like there's not an end result for it's like I've arrived, you know. And I think people like try to grow in this linear form, and then a lot of older people like kind of get to a place where like, you know what, this is it. I made it here, and I'm going to, you know, act as if I made it here. Right. But it's like I think we grow in circles, you know, or like whatever. I don't even have an analogy for it as much as it's like, if you are present and aware of like the interactions you're having, and like keep coming back to them, I think that's the best thing that we can do. And obviously if you like beat your child and apologize, yeah, sure, you may grow, but there's still negative consequences to that.
Yeah, that's different. But
I guess what I'm saying is like,
yeah,
there's not an ultimate, this is best case scenario.
No, and then that's the challenge that we
and
all have as parents.
Each of our kids are going to have a different interaction or interpretation for even tonight. Like,
exactly. You know? And looking at that is incredibly scary in the sense of like, you know, okay, what am I cultivating when I'm trying to communicate my challenges and struggles as a mom? Like, what am I stirring up in them that's like, is this wisdom from mom? Is this experience, you know, or are they like, is it, you know, oh, mom, no, you're not bad. Like, you know, I definitely got that response. And I was like, you guys, that's not what I'm going for here. What I'm trying to communicate is like, there is real being human and having to show up and say, hey, you know what? I am not healthy right now and I need to figure that out. And it's not on you guys to figure that out for me or to perform and do your dance so that I clap and I'm happy to be around, you know, like that's not good. You know, it was just like, but again, it's like, am I doing a pendulum swing that's going to be too far? Communication over here. And I don't know. And that's, and like you just said, you know, we have 4 kids that are all totally different. So,
well, and a whole other perspective on that too is my perspective on that particular situation. It's like, as I'm leaving to go back to work, I'm like, you know, I'm not, you know, like I pulled you aside and was like, hey, you know, whatever, XYZ.
This isn't okay, and you need to figure it out.
And yeah. I'm like disappointed about like the way that you're treating the kids, but I also am like, I gotta go. I'm going back to work, and so it's like, what, you know, it's like, I think about, like, we've had this conversation about other couples recently, like at a certain point, it's like I either have to choose to like do I choose to like grab the kids and like protect them from you? Do I choose to like address you and or do I like choose to trust that you're gonna work on it and leave? And I think that's a conflict that, like, you know, it's easy for me to do because it's like I trust that, like, if I leave and stop harassing you, you'll come around to that.
Yeah,
and, like, sure enough, you had that. What I want to say is I can't imagine. Yeah. Like being in maybe a more extreme situation
or
of that.
Abusive, yeah. If they're
well, that's what I mean. And then truly having to make like this like something is going to have to be sacrificed in order for something else, and to be like in a parent position where you have to make that sacrifice sounds really difficult. And we have a few people in our life right now that like are going through that, and I think that's like I can't imagine being in a situation where it's like I said, I left and kind of like said something to the kids on the way out, like, hey, like, you know, like give your mom some space, like, you know, she obviously will spend, like, she'll want to have a good time with you tonight, so just try to be helpful, and then like give her some space enough until she's ready to be like
sure.
with you.
And it ended up, yeah, and honestly, so we ended up playing Uno and stuff after all this, and what I was thinking about while we were playing was like, I'm so grateful for the way that you left, because in other situations you have done that where you grab the kids and kind of like, you're a monster, get out of here, and that just creates this utmost like
even more of a monster.
Yeah, it just is like this, oh my gosh, I'm lonely and I'm mad because I feel misunderstood, I feel so like just hurt and alone, and now you're creating this like potential thought process of the kids of like, yeah, Dad, she's a monster, protect us. There's so many things that come with that.
I'm still disappointed
but I do
don't understand it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like I have to try. Like in that situation, it's like I trusted that you're gonna have a recovery.
Well, that's what I'm
Night.
saying. It's like I'm sure that there are dads that have literally had to either do that because it's legit dangerous and that's just abusive. Or there's like, okay, you know, how you left tonight was like you had a conversation with me and you were respectful because you kept it really quiet, which I appreciated, because sometimes when we have too loud of a conversation and our kids are listening, I feel dishonored or disrespected. Sure. And so I felt like, okay, you respected me out of like keeping it private and quiet, which was great. And then you said to them, hey guys, like give mom space. And I heard you say that. I was in the kitchen. I heard you. And then you left. And I was like, okay, like that like gave me breathing room to like, I get you, like, got to know still be a mom, and you still trust me. I'm still welcome here. I still belong in this family. Like, and you didn't ostracize me, you know. And I get to, you know, react and respond. And now really look at where I am and what I need to do to mend this. And that's what happened. And it was beautiful. And then we got to play games. We were making jokes. And it was like, okay. And then when I put them to bed, it was very much more like, thanks, Mom. Like, we appreciate you going through these hard times. That's what one child said in particular. And I was like, okay, like, you know, whatever that means. Like, all right, you know, I appreciate that you said that, because they're seeing me trying, you know. And that's what any human wants, is like, they want to be acknowledged of like, hey, like, I'm struggling. You see me. I'm not alone. Like, and for even a child-parent relationship, like, that's still big. So anyway, thank you for giving me the space to do that. Not saying that, ooh, I'm a new person, but, like, I know I'm excited to see, like, over the next, from here to Christmas, like, how intentional, now that I communicated with my own children, I'm not going to do this or that. Please call me out if you see me on my phone, you know, or doing
What is that?
It felt good.
What does that have to do with anything that happened today?
I think,
I mean, I see how that
I distract myself
I'm just curious how
from
that
my stress.
How did that come up? Like, how were you, like, having this intimate moment, and then you're like, man, I'm so sorry, kids, I love you so much. Because of that, I'm not gonna.
No, okay, yeah. So it came up because Briar said, why, like, how do you get like this? And I said, you know what? I was like, I woke up from a nap. I felt guilty. Like, it's dark outside. You know, you guys were downstairs playing games. I was like, what am I doing? Just letting my kids play games, like, so all afternoon so I could nap. Like, that just feels selfish. I was like, I kind of just, like, blew up. And I'm realizing that my time that I waste watching pointless videos and not doing something like reading a book or accomplishing a task that I know that I need to accomplish, and I just keep putting it off. I was like, when I do that, like by allowing, I just become enraged with myself on the inside of like, you should be doing these other things, but instead you're not. And I was like, and so I was like, I think, you know, even with you guys playing games all the time, I was like, it's easier. I mean, you guys understand that. Like, you'd rather go play games and like distract yourself from having to like you do something else, like, you know, homework or like school, or you know, clean something, or you know, pick up the mess that you made upstairs, or like. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm realizing, like, if I can just stay present with my thoughts and my feelings and my actual problems that are here at my home, like, do the laundry. Don't let it get so big. Don't let the penny. Then I can, like, operate more presently. And I think taking a break from social media for that time would be incredibly helpful. And they were like, okay. And so... yeah. Anyway, that's how that came about. But I was like, I think it definitely all plays a role. You have to just gain back control of your mind and your mental space and how present you are, you know? And that's an element to it. So that's how it came out.
Nice.
How long is this podcast? Too long? No. Okay. Anyway, I love you. I wanted to share that evening with you. It was...
That's cool. Yeah, I heard it from the kids.
Okay, yeah.
From their perspective, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely still have some, like, internal concerns about certain ones that I'm, like, just really, truly praying that I can speak life into and love. But that's hard. It's just messy. It's really, when you care about and love someone so much and you realize that you're the one causing the damage or the trauma, you know, it's like, oh man, like, I really pray that you can get through this. And I know, and I trust God that he's going to also take care of them as much as I'm trying to. Like, I need to release that. But in the meantime, it's like, please don't F him up so bad that it's not salvageable.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah.
How is Wanda Fuca going?
Wander Fuca. Good. Yeah.
What are you currently? Why is there paint on your hands?
I'm making a mess of the place.
Does it look any better than the last time I was in there?
No, it's looking worse every day. Because I'm still like.
Are you opening up more cans of worms and then not putting the lids back on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. It's complicated because it's like to try to find, especially for this type of thing, it's like I'm not flipping a house, so it's not like what's gonna be the market, you know, like. But there's this element of like, you know, when I open to the public, you know, it's like what level of presentation or like what level do I want to present myself at?
Yeah, I was going to say professionalism. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's like, all right, I could technically like put all the lids back on and just like put a cardboard sign out front and be like, come work with me, $50, come on in, you know? And that could do
that would be funny. I would love to see that.
Yeah,
record a video of you doing that.
I'm good. Anyway, so that I'm trying to find them out. So anyway, I have
cardboard sign.
I have paint on my hands because there were 4 executive style desks that were.
What does executive style mean?
It's like more traditional, like it's
Are
like
they
the
actually
size
called that? Like when you look it up,
like
this is an executive style. This is a.
It's got like the built-in drawers and filing cabinet. It's got the 4-post legs with like the privacy.
Right. Okay.
And then it's big, so it's like it's built to have like someone sit and talk to you on the other side. It's not like a single person desk. It's an executive style. So yes.
Very cool.
Anyway, so
I didn't know.
I like those for the space, and so but they're like a little bit older style, but they're sturdy. So I kind of had a vision for upgrading them. Or
how's your vision coming? Is it coming to life?
It's good. It'll be done tomorrow.
Oh, you feeling good about them?
That's
like they look good. Like you're not like. Ugh. It's like,
it looks good. There's so basically I'm resurfacing the tops. I painted all of the silver like framing black, and then there's still some natural wood, and then I have peel and stick wallpaper that's going on some of the paneling, which is kind of cool.
You already did some of that?
Did. No, I'm waiting for those get here later this week. So
you ordered them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Anyway, so that'll be good. And then yeah, I just have to figure out, like the balance of like how much else I try to do, because I could easily spend $100,000 on it, on the whole building, like do all this stuff.
$100,000. What would you do with $100,000?
Furniture, like flipping everything, getting decor and lighting, and like I could easily spend $100,000. If I had $100,000, that place would be perfect.
That's nuts. Like I wouldn't change that much stuff about that location. It looks cool as it is, but whatever.
That's great.
That's crazy.
That's the difference between me and most other people.
Yeah. How can we complicate things?
No, I'm not complicated.
Just kidding.
I'm growing a beard. What do you think about my beard?
Oh, I love you, babe. I do not love it, but that is okay. It's patchy, and that's red. What I don't love about it. But I love you. Patchy. I think you're handsome. And you can do whatever you want. Okay.
Like under here? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. It right just, there? Yeah. It just.
So you see that and you go.
But.
Like if I don't let it grow into my neck and stuff, then it's like cleaner.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm not.
So it's a little more patchy.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just really patchy. But it's okay. Like, I love you and I think you're handsome.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go cut it.
My favorite facial hair.
Give me a mustache, baby, and shave the rest down to nothing.
It just looks so handsome on you. I love it. I just think,
I'm okay
especially
with
your
like
jean jacket and like, oh man, I just like, I love it with that flannel.
Yeah.
I love it, but I can just close my eyes and imagine it.
I'm a lumberjack. All the kids want me to keep growing my beard out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well then do it.
So.
Watch next podcast. You're like.
No, I told myself I want to get like a really clean haircut with the beard to see what that looks like.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, I don't mind cutting it.
Okay.
Like I'm not attached to it or anything, as much as I just like.
How long did it take you to get this so far?
Month and a half.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
But I've been knocking it down.
Yeah.
To like keep it. So I have like a length 3 that I knock it down every couple of days just to make sure like it's all grown at the same length. So I did that today, down to a 3. But I could keep it going. Like this would probably be twice as long in the front if I didn't do that.
Oh, I love it.
What would Well, here's I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
Anyway,
good.
Cool. Good talk.
I love you. Good talk. Thanks for letting me talk.
We got to figure out how to podcast again.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no! I wasn't saying that for you. I was just saying.
You have always talked about how you watch podcasts. You know how these are supposed to go and work and
supposed to go.
Yeah.
Well, it's
and I don't, so I end up just like.
Well, you watch documentaries, and I was like, man, I really feel like you would enjoy podcasts, like conversations, intelligent conversations. And there's some YouTube styles that are like YouTube version of documentaries. I know, really
and
enjoy.
I told you what I like about documentaries is like showing different footage of people in settings. Like I enjoy like seeing them kind of in their comfort zone, in their lifestyle, and kind of like getting to know like what is it that, I don't know. But I also watch a lot of random documentaries. You
could be doing something and listen to a podcast, and you don't have to like have that entertainment.
Oh man, I can't stand that. Like audiobooks, podcasts, like I cannot listen.
But you don't do
like
anything.
I have to watch it.
But you don't do anything throughout your day that's
mindless.
Yeah, like you don't garden or like do crafts or like.
Yeah. It's
like imagine if you started doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
And you used like a podcast as an excuse to like I'm gonna accomplish something.
My yeah.
Like if you put on a podcast
like
and
if I actually
or you quilted or you like I don't know, it's like do you have a desire to do any of that kind of stuff?
No, not right now.
What do you do for fun?
Workout, run, stuff like that. That's fun for me.
What else? Like that's only you can only do that for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, and dance, like that's fun for me. I don't know.
Do you just go dance?
I used to. I don't as much anymore.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like,
what do you do for fun?
A lot of things. I play video games. I do music all the time. Like I make music. I dink around with the piano, with the guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I create things online, like websites and stuff, like my own personal stuff, like kind of fun stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, even like painting these desks is like, it's like I'm kind of
Sure.
like I was thinking, man, I could just pay someone $100 and like all these would be done.
Right.
And probably better than me doing that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think. Yeah. I guess like I don't know. I think I lie to myself and say like I am trying to live fast pace, so I don't have time for that kind of thing, and I don't want to have time for that kind of thing.
But you have time for like a
Absolutely
2.5 hour nap.
Yeah. Okay, so that's fun. I do that. That's fun.
You could listen to a podcast while you nap.
I wouldn't hear it, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. No, I love sleeping. Like naps are good. Which, people could read into that and be like, ooh, that's a red flag, those mental health problems. Are you depressed? Is that why you like to sleep a lot? But it's like, no, I actually have always just loved to sleep. Thyroid problems, I don't know. There's a lot. I'm just trying to like
address
the judgment in the camera that no one's listening to.
No, if anything, they're just gonna be jealous.
That I get to take a nap?
Yeah, I'm jealous. That's lame.
I don't know. Yeah.
What about like fold laundry? Could you listen to a podcast while you fold laundry?
If my kids weren't in the house, like here's what I don't like.
Just tell them you listen to a podcast.
I
like,
literally,
hey,
I can't stand trying to do something. Be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna read this or I'm gonna listen to this, and then being interrupted.
But you have to train them. That's
like
what you always
I don't
get
like
mad
that.
at me.
Some
like,
moms can like totally
to
just be like, oh,
time?
that's fine, yeah, and continue. But I'm just like, you are, and I get upset about that.
That's what I'm saying. Train them. I'm doing this.
Babe, I've already trained them when I'm working out and trained them when I take a nap. So I can't have like 5 hours of my day is like, don't interrupt mom. She's at the house, but she's doing this by herself. She's doing this by herself. We live in the same house, but whatever room I'm in, don't be in that room.
Yeah,
That's not good. I'm not doing that.
I think there's a balance there, and I think if it helps you get into something that, then I'm not saying train them permanently. I'm saying you practice. I'm not good at
I enjoy coloring with Briar at the table. We do that a lot, drawing and stuff. Like I enjoy that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I definitely am getting to the point where I feel self-conscious about like we'll sit down to draw something and like mine is just kind of like not that good and it's straightforward, and she's like just like really creative, and I get like, oh, what? Like, and then I get embarrassed to even show my 8-year-old daughter like what I drew because it's like,
well, she's pretty creative, so.
But I'm saying like I have other mom friends that are like really good like artists and drawers and stuff, and so then it's like,
how'd they get good at it?
Yeah, they just do it a lot.
Practice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to just do. I want that, You know what I want? A dog. Really bad.
That sounds like a distraction from.
No, it just sounds like a bunch of joy in my house constantly.
You could be that. I am that. I'm. Oh, shoot! I pressed the button.
With what?
My foot.
Oh. So it's over?
It says it's still recording. For the one that my computer's plugged into, I made it to where I couldn't press the button.
Is it still going?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Hello. I restarted everything, and now you're seeing all my camera settings. Don't judge me. We can wrap this up, but...
Yeah, no, it's been good. Thanks for the fun time.
Thanks for the fun time. I pressed the power cord button with my foot, and it reset the whole power strip. So, it's time to end her. See you later.